asked when the wedding was. Simple question. The kind sisters ask each other over coffee, between bites of overpriced avocado toast at that cafe Mom always loved on Maple Street. My sister looked at me like I'd just asked to borrow her kidneys. "It's only for family," she said. "I need you to understand something. When someone says words that don't make sense, your brain does this strange thing where it tries to fix them. It rearranges the syllables, searches for context, builds a bridge between what you heard and what could possibly be true. Because surely she didn't just say what I think she said. But the silence that followed told me everything. Mom's hand froze halfway to her latte. The expression on her face wasn't shock. It was approval. That slight upturn at the corner of her mouth. The one she gets when things are going exactly according to her plan. "I'm sorry, what?" I finally managed. Sarah didn't even blink. "The wedding. It's an intimate ceremony. Just close family and a few friends. There were 7 of us sitting at that table. Mom, Dad, Sarah, her fiancé Derek, our Aunt Linda, who we see maybe twice a year, and Cousin Michelle, who still owes me $200 from 2019, and me, the sister who apparently wasn't family enough." I felt my jaw tighten. That physical response your body has when it knows something before your mind catches up. My fingers curled around the ceramic mug, warm against my palm, grounding me to this moment that didn't feel real. "When did you decide this?" I asked. My voice came out steadier than I expected. Sarah shrugged. She actually shrugged. "We've been planning for months. You know how stressful wedding planning is. We had to make cuts. Cuts. Like I was a line item in a budget spreadsheet. Like 28 years of growing up in the same house, sharing the same bathroom, fighting over the remote control, staying up late talking about boys and dreams and fears meant absolutely nothing when weighed against table arrangements and catering costs." Dad shifted in his seat. I watched him open his mouth, then close it, then open it again like a fish gasping for air it would never find. He looked down at his plate. That's what he always did. Looked away when it mattered most. "I think that's reasonable," Mom said, her voice bright and sharp like broken glass catching sunlight. "Weddings are so expensive these days. You understand, don't you, sweetie?" She called me sweetie while co-signing my erasure. That's a special kind of cruelty that takes years of practice to perfect. Aunt Linda was staring at her phone. Cousin Michelle suddenly found her napkin fascinating. Derek looked uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough to say anything. Not uncomfortable enough to be decent. I could feel them all waiting for me to react. To cry, probably. To make a scene. To give them proof that I was too dramatic, too sensitive, too much, the way they'd always implied I was. The problem child. The one who never quite fit the mold Mom had designed for us. Here's what they don't tell you about moments like this. Everyone talks about fight or flight, but there's a third option they leave out. Freeze. Calculate. Observe. I took a sip of my coffee. It had gone lukewarm, bitter on my tongue. "Well," I said quietly, "I hope you have a beautiful day." Sarah's eyes narrowed, just slightly. She'd been expecting something else. Drama, tears, begging. "Please let me come. I'll pay for my own plate. I'll sit in the back. I won't tell anyone we're related." I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. "Thank you," she said slowly, suspiciously, like I'd just handed her a gift she needed to check for explosives. The conversation moved on. Someone mentioned the venue, a barn in the countryside that had been featured in some wedding magazine. Someone else brought up the florist, the photographer, the band. I sat there, my hands wrapped around that cooling mug, and I listened to them plan a celebration that would include distant relatives who didn't know Sarah's middle name, but not me. Not the person who held her hair back when she had food poisoning sophomore year. Not the person who covered for her when she snuck out to see that boy Mom hated. Not the person who spent 3 hours helping her write her college admission essay. I noticed things in that silence. Small things. The way Mom kept glancing at me, checking for cracks in my composure. The way Sarah's voice got just a little louder, a little more animated, performing her happiness like she needed witnesses to validate it. The way Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. 23 minutes later, I excused myself, said I had a work call. Nobody questioned it. Nobody asked me to stay. I walked out of that cafe into the bright suburban afternoon, got into my car, and sat there in the parking lot for a full minute before starting the engine. My phone buzzed. The family group chat. Sarah had sent a photo of wedding invitations. Cream-colored, expensive-looking, elegant script. The kind of invitations that whisper about money and taste and exclusivity. I was still in that chat, still part of the thread, just not part of the wedding. I stared at those invitations through the screen of my phone, stared at the careful calligraphy, the delicate flourishes, the promise of a celebration I would watch from the outside, and something cold and clear settled into my chest. Not anger, not yet. Something quieter than that. Something that felt like a door closing, like a decision being made without words, like the end of something I didn't know I'd been holding on to. I didn't text back, didn't react to the message. Just put the phone face down on the passenger seat and drove home through streets I'd known my entire life, past the high school where Sarah and I had both graduated, past the park where we'd learned to ride bikes, past all these markers of a shared history that apparently meant nothing at all. When I got home, I sat on my couch in my quiet apartment. No crying, no calling friends to vent, just sitting with this new reality, this new understanding of exactly where I stood. Family. The word kept echoing in my head. It's only for family. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to argue. I wasn't going to give them the emotional breakdown they were probably expecting, probably hoping for, probably already discussing in texts I wasn't included in. I was going to do something else entirely. I was going to remember. The invitations went out on a Tuesday. I know this because Mom called that morning. Not to apologize. Not to acknowledge what had happened at the cafe. She called to tell me that if anyone from the extended family asked why I wasn't attending, I should say I had a work conflict. She actually used those words. A work conflict. Like she was giving me the script for my own humiliation. I listened to her entire explanation. Didn't interrupt once. When she finally stopped talking, I said, "Is that everything?" And she said yes. And I said, "Okay, talk to you later," and hung up. My hand was shaking when I set the phone down. Not from sadness. From something else. Something that felt like power gathering in the base of my spine. Waiting. That afternoon, Sarah posted the first photo. Her and Derek, holding up those cream-colored invitations. Her engagement ring catching the light just so. The caption read, "Sending love to our real family and closest friends. Can't wait to celebrate with the people who actually matter." Real family. People who actually matter. I read it 3 times. Then I took a screenshot. Didn't like it. Didn't comment. Just saved it to a folder on my phone I titled Documentation, and went back to work. Here's what Sarah didn't understand about me. She thought silence meant surrender. She'd spent our entire childhood learning that if she pushed hard enough, I'd eventually fold. When we were kids, I'd give her the toy, the last cookie, the front seat, anything to keep the peace, to avoid Mom's disapproval, to be the good sister who didn't cause problems. But I wasn't a kid anymore. The group texts started coming daily. Mom sending updates about dress fittings and cake tastings. Sarah sharing Pinterest boards of centerpiece ideas. Aunt Linda asking if anyone needed help with anything. Cousin Michelle, suddenly very active in the chat, offering to organize the bridal shower. I was still in the group, reading every message, just not responding. Day 3, Sarah sent a direct message. "Are you okay? You've been quiet." I read it immediately. The little read receipt popped up. I watched the 3 dots appear on her screen, showing she knew I'd seen it. Then I locked my phone and went to the gym. 45 minutes on the treadmill. Every step feeling like progress towards something I couldn't name yet. When I got back, there were 2 more messages from her. I didn't open them. Day 7, the bridal shower announcement. Photos of the country club, elegant tea settings, a list of who was invited. Our cousins from 3 states away. High school friends Sarah hadn't spoken to in years. Mom's book club. But not me. Obviously not me. I was getting ready for a work presentation when I saw it. I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror. Mascara wand halfway to my lashes, and I felt my jaw clench so hard my teeth ached. I set down the makeup, gripped the edge of the sink, and breathed. Just breathed until my hands stopped wanting to throw something. Then I finished my makeup, nailed the presentation, and closed the biggest deal my department had seen in 2 years. My boss took me out for drinks after. "You were on fire today," he said. "Whatever you're channeling, keep it up." If he only knew. Week 2, Thanksgiving invitations went out. Mom sent a formal email to the family list. Turkey at her house, 4 o'clock, bring a side dish. At the bottom, in a tone that tried to sound casual but landed somewhere near threatening, she wrote, "Let's all try to be adults about everything. It's the holidays. Be adults." Translation: don't mention the wedding. Don't make Sarah uncomfortable. Pretend everything is fine. I replied to the email. Single line: won't be able to make it this year. Have a great time. My phone rang within 90 seconds. Mom. I declined the call. She called again. Declined. Then came the text. We need to talk about your attitude. My attitude. That's what she called it when I stopped playing along. I didn't respond to that either. Day 16, I blocked Sarah on Instagram. Didn't announce it. Didn't make it dramatic. Just pressed the button and watched her perfectly curated life disappear from my feed. The relief was immediate, like taking off shoes that had been too tight for miles. The texts from her increased after that. Did you block me? This is really immature. I can't believe you're acting like this over a wedding. Over a wedding. Like that's all it was. Like it wasn't 28 years of being treated as less than, finally crystallized into one perfect, undeniable moment of rejection. I saved every text, screenshot, dated, filed away in that folder that was growing larger by the day. Week 3, my uncle called. Dad's brother, someone I actually liked. Hey, kiddo, he said, his voice careful. Just wanted to check in. Heard there's some family stuff happening. I'm fine, I told him. And I was. That was the strange part. I was sleeping better than I had in months. Working harder, thinking clearer. Your dad's worried, he said. Then Dad should call me himself. Silence on the line. Then, you know how he is. Yeah, I said. I do. After we hung up, I sat with that for a while. You know how he is. The excuse I'd heard my entire life. Dad wasn't mean like Mom, wasn't manipulative like Sarah. He was just absent when it mattered. A ghost in his own house, watching everything happen, saying nothing. That might have been worse. Week 4, the wedding was 2 months away. Sarah's posts became more frequent. Dress shopping, venue tours, bachelorette party planning. Every photo, every caption seemed designed to remind me of what I was missing. Look at this family moment. Look at this sister bonding. Look at everything you're not part of. I stopped looking, stopped checking, started filling my time with other things. Signed up for a pottery class, started training for a half marathon. Said yes when my coworker asked if I wanted to join her book club. My life was getting fuller, and I wasn't even trying. It was just happening, naturally, in the space where their toxicity used to live. Day 32, I got a voicemail from Sarah. I didn't listen to it right away. Let it sit there for 6 hours while I had dinner with friends, real friends, the kind who knew my middle name and my coffee order, and would never exclude me from anything that mattered. When I finally played it, her voice was different, strained. Look, I don't understand why you're being like this. Mom says you're not coming to Thanksgiving. You're not responding to anyone. This is supposed to be a happy time. Can you at least pretend to be happy for me? Pretend. That word again. The anthem of my childhood. I deleted the voicemail. Didn't save it. Didn't need to. Some things you remember without evidence. That night, I lay in bed in my quiet apartment and felt something shifting. The hurt was still there, underneath everything, but it was hardening into something else, something clearer, something that knew exactly what it was seeing and refused to look away. My phone lit up with another group text. Wedding countdown. 8 weeks. Sarah had sent a gif of champagne glasses clinking. I picked up my phone, read the message, and did something I'd never done before. I muted the entire conversation, not left it. That would cause drama, questions, intervention. Just muted it. Let them talk in their bubble. Let them plan their perfect day. Let them pretend I didn't exist, because I was done pretending anything at all. The wedding happened on a Saturday in October. I spent that day closing on a promotion I'd been working toward for 8 months. Senior account manager, corner office, 20% raise. While Sarah walked down an aisle I'd never see, I was signing contracts that would change my life in ways that actually mattered. My phone stayed face down in my desk drawer the entire day. Didn't check it once, didn't wonder, didn't care. When I finally looked, there were 47 notifications. The photos started at 2 in the afternoon. Mom, Sarah, the bridesmaids, the ceremony, the first dance, the cake cutting. Every single moment documented and shared like proof of something. Look how perfect this is. Look what you missed. Look how little we needed you. I scrolled through them once. Just once. Clinical. Detached. The way you'd examine evidence in a case that didn't involve you personally. Then I saw it. Cousin Michelle's Instagram story. A video of the reception. You could hear Sarah's voice in the background, slightly drunk, laughing with someone. Honestly, she would have just made everything about her anyway. Some people can't handle when it's not their day, you know? My finger froze on the screen. I watched it again, then again. She was talking about me, at her wedding, to guests, making me the villain in a story where I'd done nothing but exist. I took a screenshot, added it to the folder. My hands weren't shaking this time. The next morning, Sarah called. I was having coffee on my balcony, watching the sunrise paint the city in shades of gold and amber. I let it ring. She called again, and again. The fourth time, I answered. Where were you? Her voice was sharp, accusatory. No hello, no acknowledgement of anything. At work, I said simply. You couldn't even send a text? A congratulations? Nothing? I took a sip of coffee, watched a bird land on the railing. You made it very clear I wasn't family, Sarah. I was just respecting your wishes. Silence. Then, don't be dramatic. You're twisting everything. Am I? I need to talk to you about something. Her tone shifted, the anger melting into something else. Something that sounded almost like nervousness. Can you meet me for lunch? And there it was. The thing I'd been waiting for without knowing I was waiting. What do you need? I asked. Can't I just want to see my sister? You haven't wanted to see me for 3 months. So I'll ask again. What do you need? Another pause. Longer this time. Then, Derek and I are looking at houses. We found one we love, but we're a little short on the down payment. I know you just got that promotion, and I thought maybe... I laughed. Actually laughed. The sound surprised even me. You're calling to ask for money. It's not like that. It's family helping family. You'd be investing in our future. Family. That word again. Elastic enough to stretch around whatever she needed in the moment. I can't help you, I said. Can't or won't. Does it matter? She hung up. I sat there with my coffee getting cold, staring at my phone, and felt something click into place. The final piece of a puzzle I'd been assembling without a picture to guide me. That afternoon, I opened my laptop and started searching. It took 20 minutes to find what I was looking for. My name. On credit card applications. 2 of them. Opened 6 months ago. Both maxed out. Total debt. $38,000. My stomach dropped. Then my training kicked in. The same focus that helped me close deals, negotiate contracts, read people across boardroom tables. I called the credit card companies, verified the applications, requested copies of everything. The signatures were bad forgeries. The addresses were Sarah's apartment before she moved in with Derek. She'd used my identity to pay for her wedding. You know what? This moment right here, when I realized I wasn't crazy, that I had every right to protect myself, this was my turning point. If you've ever been in a situation where family made you feel like you were the problem, drop a comment below. You're not alone. And if this story is hitting home, please hit that subscribe button and share this video. Sometimes people need to hear that it's okay to choose yourself. Let's keep going. I spent the next week gathering everything. Bank statements, credit reports, screenshots of her posts showing wedding expenses that matched the credit card charges, text messages where she'd asked about my personal information months ago, things I'd given her because she was my sister and you trust your sister. I consulted with a lawyer on Tuesday, filed a police report on Wednesday, disputed every charge on Thursday. Friday morning, Sarah called again. I didn't answer. She texted, "We need to talk. Mom said you're causing problems." Problems. I was causing problems by protecting myself from fraud, I replied. First message I'd sent her in months. "We can talk through lawyers. Check your mail." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then nothing. That night, Mom called. I answered. "What do you think you're doing?" No hello. Just rage. Protecting myself from identity theft. "That's your sister. This is family business." "No," I said, and my voice was steady, cold, clear. "This is fraud, and I'm handling it the way anyone would handle fraud." "You're going to ruin her life over money?" "She ruined her own life when she stole from me. After everything we've done for you." I hung up, blocked the number, sat in my apartment that suddenly felt bigger, cleaner, lighter than it ever had before. The evidence was compiled. The legal process was in motion, and I felt nothing but calm. Sarah had made her choice. Now she'd live with the consequences. Not because I was cruel, but because I was finally done being convenient. The police showed up at Sarah's house on a Tuesday morning. I wasn't there. Didn't need to be. I was at my office, 3 miles away, reviewing quarterly projections when my phone buzzed with a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was Aunt Linda. "What did you do?" I didn't respond, just set the phone down and went back to work. By noon, the family group chat I'd muted months ago had blown up. 83 messages. I didn't read them, just saw the number climbing every time I glanced at my screen. Mom tried calling 16 times. Dad, twice. Sarah's number appeared on my screen so many times I lost count. I blocked them all. Every single one. Methodical. Calm. The way you'd delete spam emails. The legal process moved forward like a machine that didn't care about tears or excuses or family dynamics. The credit card companies investigated. The evidence was clear. Forged signatures. My personal information used without consent. Charges that perfectly matched wedding expenses Sarah had posted online. She'd documented her own crime, and she hadn't even realized it. 3 weeks later, I got a call from my lawyer. Sarah had agreed to a payment plan to avoid prosecution. She'd have to pay back every cent, plus interest, plus legal fees. It would take her years. She wants to know if you'll drop the charges if she pays. He said. No, I said. The charges stand. She can pay and face consequences. That's pretty hardcore. That's fair. He didn't argue. That night, my inbox filled with emails. Extended family members I hadn't heard from in years. Suddenly very concerned about unity and forgiveness, and how family should stick together. Funny how none of them had that energy when I was excluded from the wedding. I read each one once, deleted them all. No responses, no explanations. They didn't deserve my time. Cousin Michelle sent a long apology. Said she didn't know what Sarah had done. Said she felt terrible about the bridal shower. About everything. Said she hoped we could still be family. I almost believed her. Then I remembered her Instagram story at the wedding. Her laughter in the background while Sarah talked about me. I deleted that too. December came. Holiday season. The time when families are supposed to come together. Supposed to forgive. Supposed to pretend everything is fine for the sake of tradition. I spent Christmas Eve at my coworker's house. Her family welcomed me like I'd always belonged there. Her mom taught me how to make tamales. Her dad told terrible jokes. Her sister asked about my work. Actually listened to my answers. Remembered details the next time we talked. This is what family is supposed to feel like, I thought. Chosen. Safe. Real. Christmas morning. I woke up in my apartment to silence. Beautiful, peaceful silence. Made myself coffee. Watched the snow fall outside my window. Felt nothing but contentment. My phone stayed off all day. January brought news through channels I didn't control. The small-town rumor mill that reaches everyone eventually. Sarah and Derek were struggling. The house they wanted fell through. Her part-time job at the boutique let her go when word got around about the fraud. People talk in small towns. They remember. I felt nothing when I heard. Not satisfaction. Not sympathy. Nothing at all. She was a stranger now. Someone I used to know. February, I ran into Dad at the grocery store. Literally turned the corner and there he was, standing in the cereal aisle looking older than I remembered. We made eye contact. He opened his mouth. I waited. Gave him one chance to say something that mattered. "Your mother misses you," he said. Not him. Not an apology. Not accountability. Just Mom misses you. Like that was supposed to mean something. I nodded once. Politely. The way you acknowledge a stranger's comment about the weather. Then I walked past him. Finished my shopping. Went home. That was the last time I saw any of them. March brought spring and new beginnings. I got approached by a competitor with an offer I couldn't refuse. Better title. Better pay. Better city. A chance to start completely fresh somewhere nobody knew my history. I took it. Gave my notice. Packed my apartment. Didn't tell anyone in my family where I was going. The day before I left, I sat on my empty apartment floor surrounded by boxes and thought about everything that had happened. The exclusion, the silence, the fraud, the justice. People always want these stories to end with reconciliation, with the family realizing their mistake, apologizing, everyone hugging and crying and promising to do better. That's not what happened. What happened is, I learned that some people will only see you as useful, as convenient, as someone who exists to serve their narrative. And when you stop playing that role, when you step back and let them face the consequences of their own choices, they'll call you cruel, dramatic, unforgiving. Let them. My last night in that town, I drove past the house I grew up in. Lights on in the windows. Mom's car in the driveway. Sarah's car there too. A family gathering I wasn't part of and didn't want to be. I didn't slow down. Didn't stop. Just kept driving until those lights disappeared in my rearview mirror. In my new city, nobody knows I have a sister. Nobody knows about the wedding I wasn't invited to. Nobody knows the history. Sometimes people ask if I have family nearby. I smile and say no. It's not even a lie. Not anymore. I built a life that doesn't include people who treated me like I was disposable. I built friendships based on mutual respect. I built a career on my own merit. I built peace out of the wreckage they left behind. And when I think about that day in the cafe, when Sarah said those words, when everything changed, I don't feel pain anymore. I feel free. Some doors close and you spend years trying to pry them back open. Other doors close and you realize they were never meant to stay open in the first place. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just done. And that, it turns out, is the coldest justice of all.